Hello, good peoples. Today I'm going to be doing a tier list ranking of Superliminal levels. This is going to be based only on glitchless runs. So, without me gabbling on too much, let's jump right into it. So, just as a little bit of background, I am not a professional runner. I don't speedrun very many games. Superliminal is actually the first one that I have ever gotten into. So, that being said, I am not a pro at it, but I am decent. I have a good amount of experience, as shown by my play hours on the game. Yeah, it's a lot. So, I just want to preface before I start this, we have a S, A, B, C, D, and F categories. The reason it's so spread out is because there is a big distinction between a good level, an enjoyable level, like an easy one, and a hard and challenging one that can just ruin your run or your day. So, first off, we have Blackout. Blackout is one of the easiest levels in the game. I'll just put it simple. There's not much going on in it. It's just a bunch of walking, occasional jumping. You do have the blind maze, though, in the center. And if you're a pro runner, you can run that maze blindly. Like, you can walk backwards through that whole section without needing a light or anything. Or if you're not that experienced, you'll go through that, you'll go past that one hallway, grab the light, and then have something to see as you're walking through the maze. It takes like 15 seconds off the run, so it's good to learn that. But other than that, the level's pretty easy. And so I am going to go ahead and put that at an A tier. Not S tier quite, because, like I said, the blind maze is pretty challenging to learn, and it takes some time. I like Blackout. It's kind of boring, but it is kind of a break from the previous levels. You get to just walk and calm down a little. So, moving on, we have Clone. Clone, S tier. I gotta put Clone at S tier because it's the easiest level in the game, hands down. Aside from one other, it is just a little easier than one of the others that I'm thinking of. But yeah, Clone is an enjoyable one to run. It doesn't take too much practice to get the strats down, but it does take some practice to learn a couple of them. I guess when you start, you go through the door, you put that on the button, simple enough. You clone the door till you can jump on it and jump over the barrier, and then you get to the alarm clock room. The alarm clock room, you gotta clone it to get up to the platform to move on and turn left. That takes some practice, and it depends on which strat you learn. Do you learn it by cloning it on the floor and then immediately shoot another one up and angle it so that you can do 2 insta jumps and get up there as quick as you can? Or do you clone it against the wall, jump on it, and clone it from right above it? And that takes a little, like 2 seconds off the run, but it is good to learn. Besides that, after that you have the green apple, you push off the button, and then you have the red apple, you align on the button, and then you have the sign clone to get to the last stage of the level. So, it is, in my opinion, some may disagree, I do think it is the easiest in the game. It's short and sweet anyway. Moving back in the game a little bit, we have Cubism. Cubism is complicated. Cubism, I really enjoy running because of the simple strats and just the enjoyment you get from zoom, zoom, zoom all over the place within the level and grabbing a bunch of objects, placing them. Yeah, it's fun. Cubism, though, it can mess you up though. Like you can make minor mistakes, like several minor mistakes throughout the run if you're not careful, and that can take off. If it adds up, probably about 5 seconds total, if you're not careful. Pro runners are obviously good at not doing that. So, I am going to go ahead and put Cubism at A tier. Because it is easy, like I said, it is easy, but if you're not careful, it can mess up your run by about 5 seconds or so. I really enjoy running it though, so that's why it's as high as it is. Now, the level that can make or break a run, Dollhouse. Dollhouse is infamous for being the hardest level in the game. in many circumstances. Dollhouse, you can either go in there and bust through it and get a good time, or you can go into it and completely botch your run. You can, there are several places where you can make an oopsie. Like the 2 house resizes at the start, the fan and the Jenga block tower and the window after that, and then the bounce castle. Oh my god. Anyway, I would say Dollhouse is a C tier. C tier based on how difficult it is, how much practice it takes. It is the level that I have reset the most, besides one other that I'll get to. One other level. I do think that runners of all statuses struggle with this level at some point in their running history. So, good deserving spot for Dollhouse, in my opinion. And now, Induction. Labyrinth. Okay, no. Alright, I will comment on Induction. Induction, it sucks. Everyone hates that level. It is the first level that you get to within the game. It's the one that is reset the most, re-recorded the most. It sucks. There's no other way to put it. You go in there and you have several strats that you gotta get down perfectly. You gotta make a good impression on your run, or else the pros are gonna think you're a noob and you suck. And I'm just kidding. But yeah, it's tough. It really sets the mood for the overall run, whether you do good or not. So yeah, that's my hot take on Induction. I ain't gonna talk about it much anymore. Moving on, we got Labyrinth. Labyrinth I really enjoy running. It is probably the one that I enjoy running the most in the game. Labyrinth I really enjoy because it's all over the place, it's funky, it's groovy, it's got that intense music within it, and it really just picks up the pace a lot. In terms of difficulty, I don't think it's that hard. There's a lot of things that you really have to practice though in order to get a solid time. It's not so much messing up stuff as it is finding ways to do it faster. The chess piece, when you open the door and the rook is right there, you can either pause right there, put the rook right down on the button facing where you are towards the door, or you can do it the fast way, take the rook, immediately turn around, put it on the button as you're walking backwards through the door. And then there's that one hallway where when you fall through the hallway at the start, and then you have to clip the door as you're walking through the other hallway. You can mess that up sometimes as you're moving, and it'll cost you like a second or two. So small things like that, just like Cubism, add up, and it can add a lot of time, unnecessary time. And so for all those things considered, I'm going to go ahead and put Lab at a B tier. B tier mainly because it is a fun and exciting level, but at the same time, it can be challenging for those who don't know the right strats in order to get an optimal time at the end. So, moving backwards in the game a little, we have Optical. Now, Optical for me is a bittersweet level. I love it and I hate it at the same time. I love it mainly because of the enjoyment that I get from doing the strats. I hate it because I mess up those strats so much oftentimes. Outside of Induction and Dollhouse, it's like the third most practiced level that I've done. So yeah, it's a doozy. For all things considered, I will put it at a B tier though. Same level as Labyrinth. It is harder definitely than Cubism or Blackout, which are in the A tier, but not so much as to where it's unenjoyable. Because when you get it right, it feels really good. Like the jump click strat to make the cube larger and get into the next hallway. Then when you grab the dice from the ceiling, you put it on the plank walk, and then you grab the chess piece to make the exit and all. And then you grab the moon at the end, and you make the portal big, and yeah, it's really fun. Plus, it's the level right after Induction. It gives you a sigh of relief from what you just came from. After that, we have God tier. Retrospect God tier. You got 1 second, easiest level in the game. No, yeah, it obviously it's part of the S tier. It's not really a level. It's just the click at the end where you click the alarm clock to officially end the run. I guess that just leaves white space. White space is it's the end level, and it is enjoyable. It is a nice break because you get like 3 minutes straight of literally just walking and falling and minimal grabbing. I really like it. Until you get up to the last part. The last 2 puzzles in the game, the chessboard where you gotta skip over the holes so you don't fall through, and then the cheese skip at the end. Well, some runners which are experienced just skip the cheese. They make the block large, they put it down on the ground, they jump click to keep making it large, and then they just cut right to the exit. Runners who don't have that much experience or don't know that trick well enough, they just go down to get the cheese and resize that to get through. The chessboard is pretty difficult to master. I still struggle with it myself. I'll find myself losing time to that puzzle, dropping through the chessboard and losing about 10 seconds off the run, especially if it's like the last block. Man, that's just a gut-wrenching feeling when that happens. So with all that said, I'm going to go ahead and put white space at an A tier. Because like I said, I really enjoy the relaxation part of just getting a break from everything that was Dollhouse and Labyrinth and all that. Oh, you do have the paradox at the beginning though, and that can take some practice to get down and save the most amount of time too. So that will do it for this tier making. I hope that whoever my targeted audience is, the Superliminal running community, I hope you enjoyed this. I will definitely be sharing it on the Discord with them later once I get this uploaded. So if this is not your type of video, I'm glad you watched anyway. So that's it that I have for you today. Bye.